Just want to spend a couple minutes talking about how to find the intersection of two functions. And this might be something that you have, well, it's definitely something that you've already seen before. It may be something that you remember how to do. Definitely use this a lot in Algebra 2 and probably in Pre-Cal also. But what I want to talk about is how we can find, in this case, you can see here that I have two functions. I just chose e to the x and then this downward opening parabola. It happens to be negative the quantity x minus 1 squared plus 4. It's not really important what these are, but I just wanted to have a graph to kind of base this discussion on. And what I want to do is find the intersection of these two graphs. So you can see that they intersect in two places, here and here. So in order to find those intersections, I can use the blue second button and then calc, which is the trace button up there. And I want to find the intersection of those two. So I can either scroll down and hit enter or just hit number 5 and it'll bring me to this screen. So you can see that it says here first curve. It's asking me a question. It's asking me for the first curve. I'd like that to be y1. And if it isn't, then I can use the up and down arrows to change which function it is. So I'm going to leave that on y1 and hit enter. And then it asks me, okay, what's the second curve? So it's asking me, what are the two curves that you want me to find the intersection of? This is y2. That's correct, so I'm going to hit enter there. And then it asks me for a guess. Now there's two intersection points, one here and one here. So I have to do this process two separate times. I'm going to use the left and right arrow to get my cursor close to one of the intersection points. And I hit enter there. And you can see that it gives me the x value and the y value of that intersection. Right. Now let's say that I want to keep these to use those sometime later. Maybe I want to do an integral or whatever. I want to save these values. I'm not going to move the cursor, so I'm careful not to touch any of these arrows here. I'm going to go second quit out to the main screen. And now if I type x, I get the same x value that I left the cursor on when I was inside the graph. And if I type y, so I do alpha y, I'll get the y value that the cursor was on when I was last in that graph. So I can save these, so I can copy and paste them up there and then use the stow button down at the bottom, just above the on. I can store those. Say I want to store those in variable A. I could store the y value in another variable, say variable B. Use alpha B. And now anytime I want to use those values, I can use the variable A or the variable B to do that. Right? I could then find the other intersection point. So I could find this intersection point. So again, I go second calc intersect. And it's the same two curves. So first curve, y1, second curve, y2, and then the guess. This time I want it to find the other intersection point. So I'm going to scroll over here so that my cursor is close to that intersection point. And there we have x equals the 1.354 and the y equals 3.874. And I could do the same thing there if I needed to for whatever reason. Second quit. Now the x value is that, and I could store that, say, in variable C, and the y value is at that 3.874, and I could store that, say, in variable D, and then if I were to need those for any kind of integration, any kind of area or volume problem, there they are waiting for me to just pull those up and use those, so that I don't have to either I don't have to write down all these decimal places. I can just write down the first 3 decimal places for any kind of answer I need to provide, or I can call up variable A, B, C, or D as needed and get the precision of that full decimal without having to type it in and risk mistyping it.